My name is Claire Davis, and I'm 34 years old. It was a warm Sunday afternoon, the kind that beckons you to idle in the sun. But I found myself seated at a polished mahogany table, surrounded by my husband's family. The occasion was the reading of my late father-in-law's will. The air was thick with anticipation, whispers and side glances exchanged like currency. At the head of the table sat my mother-in-law, Barbara Davis, her eyes sharp and calculating behind designer glasses. Barbara leaned forward, her voice slicing through the murmurs. "We all know why we're here," she announced, a thin smile stretching across her face. "Let's see what Richard left us." Her tone was too smooth, too rehearsed, the kind that made you brace for a punch you couldn't see coming. The lawyer began reading, and as the minutes ticked by, my heart sank. There was no mention of the house that my husband and I had been promised, no acknowledgement of the investment we had made in the family business. Instead, Barbara's name peppered the document, her inheritance vast and unapologetic. Finally, she turned towards me, her smile now a Cheshire grin. "Oh, Claire, darling, Richard must have forgotten. I'm sure you'll find a place that's more suitable for your means," she said, her words dripping with icy condescension. The wound was inflicted, deep and personal. We had been counting on that inheritance to build our future, and now it was gone, swiped effortlessly by the woman who called herself family. As the meeting adjourned, I felt the eyes of the clan upon me, waiting for tears, perhaps an outburst. But I gave them nothing. Inside, a single, steely thought crystallized. So that's her move. Predictable. She thinks I'll panic. She's wrong. The war had begun. Round 1 was a swift and brutal attack. Barbara had already set the wheels in motion by spreading rumors within the family, whispering that we were financially reckless and unworthy of Richard's legacy. I found out later that she had even gone so far as to suggest to the extended family that my husband and I were considering moving out of town, implying that we wanted nothing to do with the family estate. Anger simmered beneath my calm exterior. The attack was craftily executed, designed to isolate us. My immediate assessment was unemotional, detached. She wants to alienate us, paint us as the outsiders. Step 1, document every whispered lie. Step 2, gather allies, those whom Barbara's web hadn't ensnared. Step 3, launch the truth. I spent hours making calls, visiting relatives, and presenting undeniable evidence of our loyalty and intentions, meticulously countering each fabricated tale with facts and sincerity. It was exhausting but necessary work. By the end of the week, the seeds of doubt Barbara sowed had been uprooted. Her stories unraveled in the face of irrefutable truth, but the skirmish had hardened me. I realized this was just a taste of her cunning. Round 2 came in the form of financial sabotage. Barbara had blocked our access to shared family funds, a petty move meant to tighten our resources. My husband's calls to the family accountant were met with evasive responses, and it became clear she was pulling the strings. A lesser person might have buckled under the pressure, but this was merely another layer in her campaign of control. She underestimates my resolve, I thought, a grim smile playing on my lips. Step 1, secure personal finances. Step 2, find an alternative source of income. Step 3, undermine her influence. I dove into my work with renewed vigor, tapping into a freelance network I had cultivated over the years, and secured a lucrative contract that bolstered our financial foothold. Simultaneously, I discreetly reached out to family members she hadn't yet manipulated, ensuring continued access to certain assets and privileges. Her blockade turned to dust as we regained our financial footing, leaving her maneuver ineffective. Round 3 was a more sinister ploy. Barbara attempted to tarnish my reputation by insinuating during another family gathering that I was mishandling personal relationships, going so far as to hint at improprieties that were laughably false. Her eyes met mine across the table, her smile full of venom as she dropped these insinuations like a serpent. But I was ready for this strike. Her pattern was predictable. Divide and conquer. The assessment was surgical. Step 1, Neutralize accusations with proof. Step 2. Reaffirm my bonds with the family through action, not words. Step 3. Expose her manipulations. I had anticipated such a move and had already fortified my relationships. A series of heartfelt conversations and shared projects with my husband and key family members not only mitigated the impact of her gossip, but also tightened the bonds she sought to sever. I presented evidence of my integrity when needed, but relied on trust and consistency as my main weapons. Slowly, steadily, her poisonous insinuations lost their potency, dissipating into the background noise of family life. Round 4 was a final desperate act, a direct confrontation. Barbara cornered me at a family event, her eyes alight with a challenge. "Claire, it seems you're struggling to find your place here. Maybe it's time you and Michael consider other options," she suggested, her voice heavy with feigned concern. This time, I was ready for the confrontation. My assessment was curt and final. Her suggestion was a gauntlet thrown, meant to intimidate. Step 1. Accept the challenge. Step 2. Turn her words into my weapon. Step 3. Deliver the checkmate. I looked her square in the eyes, unflinching. "Thank you for the suggestion, Barbara. In fact, I've already taken steps to ensure our future. We just closed on a house," I said, my voice steady. "Right next door." Her eyes widened in surprise, her veneer of control cracking. I continued, not letting her regain her footing. "We'll be neighbors, Barbara. I'm sure we'll find our place just fine." The power dynamic shifted then. Her domination, once ironclad, now crumbled before her. The final act, the execution, came at a gathering convened under the pretense of family unity. The setting was ironically appropriate, a lawyer's office. Tension buzzed, the air crackling with anticipation. I stood, a silent storm ready to unleash its fury. This was the moment to conclude the battle, a culmination of weeks of strategy and counter-strategy. I had prepared meticulously, gathering evidence, seeking counsel, and aligning allies. The room's attention was mine, their eyes watching as I set the stage for the final reveal. "Barbara," I began, my voice a calm sea before the tempest. "We've had our differences, but there's something everyone should know." I laid out each piece of her treachery like a chessboard, every lie, every maneuver she had employed to undermine us. The gasps and mutters from the family were her death knell. Then I delivered the fatal blow, turning her own words against her. "Barbara, you once suggested finding a place suitable for us. We took your advice. Not only did we buy the house next door, but we also discovered the hidden clauses in Richard's will. You may have seized the majority, but the house was always meant for us," I revealed, pulling out copies of legal documents. Her face blanched, the blood draining as the room erupted in disbelief and support for our victory. I met her gaze, my voice unwavering. "We'll be staying. And now, everyone knows why we belong." With those words, the battle was won. The war over. The family rallied around us, the truth a balm to the wounds Barbara had inflicted. Her reign of manipulation ended, exposed by the very strategies she had wielded. The final line hung in the air like a victorious banner. "In the end, you helped us more than you ever intended." And with that, the story concluded. The final chapter of a brutal yet triumphant saga written in the annals of our lives.